So there's this joke, if you can even call it a joke, that goes basically, if you're deep enough into the internet that you're receiving online tarot readings, you are no longer just chronically online, you're effectively terminally online. And when I heard this a few weeks ago, immediately I was like, oh no. Because not only am I receiving these videos, I also have ended up saving a couple of them to, refer back to later, just to know, when's that money going to come in? When am I going to sign an important contract that will change my whole life? When is a stranger with dark hair going to be thinking about me? And that likewise will change my whole life. I'll give you some notes on the form in case you're not so terminally chronically online. So what we've got here is there's always a woman, usually in her like 20s to 30s. She's sitting on the screen, really usually casual surroundings. She's not doing anything fancy. She hasn't dressed up in her most mysterious clothes to do this. Let me tell you. So mysterious. Ooh. No, she's not trying too hard. She might be in her car, in her bed. She might be wearing pajamas for all I know. Like, it's very casual. And, you see her on screen. I'm kind of talking specifically here as well about short form tarot content, but I know there is also like longer form on YouTube. I just really haven't watched that yet. I've mainly received this through the short form platforms. You see her on screen surrounded usually by a selection of words, indicating what her reading is going to be about. She usually has some like repeating numbers, angel numbers as they call them, which are meant to signify certain things that are going to happen, again, relevant to the reading, I suppose. And so what she does then is she hooks you in quickly. She's saying something like, the money's coming, get ready, your life's about to change. So you're like, okay, well, I do need my life to change. I am ready. And then she starts shuffling through her tarot deck. She shuffles quite quickly through her deck, quite messily. Like when I first saw these videos, I was like, God, why are they so bad at shuffling cards? Like this looks terrible. Cards keep falling out of the deck. What's going on? What I learned, though, is that the cards that fall out of the deck are the ones that are supposed to fall out of the deck. You see, those are the cards that are going to tell you your future. These are the cards that the universe has selected to fall out of the deck for you. I wondered, how could this possibly work? Like, isn't the nature of fortune telling for you to actually be in the same physical space as the fortune teller? And I guess I also should say here, like, I'm like a semi-skeptic when it comes to all of this stuff. Like, I'm not a non-believer and I'm not a believer. I'm kind of like, I'm open to whatever. I'm at a point of significant desperation in my life, always, it seems. And yeah, I'm not going to rule out any possibility to change the course of my future. I will take it. And I suppose the idea with this variety of like internet tarot reading as opposed to in-person traditional tarot reading is that the universe is effectively connecting the tarot reader and the tarot reading recipient through the algorithm. Whatever you receive through the algorithm is what is meant for you. And like, how could you not get a little bit sucked in when you're receiving this stuff from these messages directly from the universe in the comfort of your own home through your phone? I felt as well like maybe a little bit of history would be helpful here, context setting, background, just to like understand what we're working with a little further, not just the internet variety of tarot reading, fortune telling. Tarot cards, in fact, originated around the 1400s in Italy, and they were used not to tell the future. They were just used as like a card game. Like, it was very not occult, and this like occult connotation only got attached in like the 1800s. There were people who believed that tarot cards came from like ancient Egypt or ancient Jewish traditions, which turned out to be like completely untrue, but like that was how they kind of like assigned, I guess, the mysticism to them. And then we get to today. And really, in many ways, if you look at today's like online tarot readers, like they're kind of just another form of micro influencer. They're basically selling people hopes and dreams. Not selling. They're not selling. That's the very fact. They're not selling, but they're tapping into, let's say, an audience's hopes and dreams and desires for the future, kind of presenting a life lifestyle that might appeal to members of the general public. And I suppose, it's somewhat harmless. Like, unlike other forms of internet content, it's not actively usually trying to sell you anything unless they're selling you like private readings or their own personally designed tarot decks. But it's like they're not really actively selling. It's not really commerce, is it? Right? And so as I'm kind of like going through my own online tarot experience, I just like can't help but wonder though, like, am I alone in this? Like, I kind of feel like I'm alone in this, but then I also see that these videos are racking up like thousands of likes, sometimes into the 100,000s of likes. And I start to think, okay, wait, this is actually maybe something quite a bit bigger than me. Like, this is maybe something significant in the world. So I looked into others' experiences and I found that people actually have become addicted to internet tarot. So in fact, it's not just me. And in fact, there are people who have been a lot deeper down this rabbit hole than I ever have been. And in a way, it makes sense that you could very easily become addicted to this type of content. After all, it's free. You can take it in from anywhere. It promises you something. And there are also loads of them available. Like, literally, I have had days when I start getting tarot videos and start, watching them all the way through, interacting with them. And then that's most of what I receive for like the rest of the day of my social media consumption. Like, it's kind of crazy how many there actually are. And I also find that they all kind of tend to follow the same message. So it starts to really reinforce itself to me. I'm like, okay, like maybe something is going on here. Maybe my life is indeed about to change permanently and for the better. And on YouTube, creator Insights by V talked about the experience of getting addicted to internet tarot, talking about how when you're feeling bad, these videos can ultimately just provide like a source of hope. Like, you're feeling terrible about yourself and then you get this video that says that, oh, well, everything's going to work out. She talked about how it created this cycle of hope and despair and excitement and despair, and how you feel this initial excitement, like, okay, yes, things will not always be the way they are. And then despair when it's like, oh, but nothing's happening. And then another surge of excitement when you think, well, maybe if I just work harder on myself, I'll get there. I'll get there. And then more despair when more time passes and nothing happens. Another video by Simplistic Mystic talks about how in her experiences of both doing online tarot readings and receiving online tarot readings, that as a creator of this content, she ultimately felt this kind of sense of guilt over time in basically keeping people stuck and keeping people coming back to this idea that, oh, well, my soulmate's waiting. I don't need to do anything. I just need to wait for my soulmate to come back, and then I will be happy and fulfilled in life. Ultimately, then, though, as Insights by V explains, it's all just a self-reinforcing cycle where the algorithm feeds us what it knows we like, and we just keep coming back for more of the same. But why? Why do we keep coming back? Why don't we just swipe away, click away, decide to do something else, take in something else? Why don't we realize as easily that, like, this isn't real, any of it? Maybe, but maybe it is. And this is where I think the state of just current modern society comes in. And I think that a lot of people are really out there looking for something, looking for some source of hope, feeling like they've exhausted options for hope from other sources. Like, we know that wages are not keeping pace with inflation. We know that you can work full-time plus and not have the slightest chance of ever being able to buy a home or even have security in a renting situation. And simultaneously, so many people feel more alone than we've ever been, more isolated from a feeling of community and experience of being in true partnership with others. We've lost our third place is dating, I've heard, is pretty bleak. Even though I am in no way religiously inclined, though, I mean, maybe like the whole fact that I'm talking at length about like online tarot readings indicates something else. But even though I've never like been a fan of organized religion, I'll even say that I think in the decline of religious institutions, we've lost something as well, a source of meaning and community and hope and somewhere to go once a week and connect with others. And instead we get online wellness content. We get various ways that we can all work to self-optimize. Is it any surprise then that we're seeing what I've called this mainstreaming of mysticism, where we're seeing, according to Pew Research Center, 60% of millennials believing in some kind of new age spirituality? And when you contrast, say, different generations' experiences of the spiritual, we have only 49% of millennials reporting that they felt some sort of spiritual peace in the last week, as opposed to 62% of boomers. And I mean, speaking for myself, I can say that I haven't felt spiritual peace in quite a while. I can't even remember what spiritual peace truly feels like. So, of course, in this context where people are feeling desperate, they're turning to the mystical as a source of meaning. It's there to reassure us that good things are coming and that we don't have to really do anything about them. Like, we don't need to change anything. We just need to wait, and it'll come. It'll come. Don't worry. Like, you'll get there. And like, I think there's also a parallel here, a pretty obvious parallel, but I think it needs to be mentioned, to astrology and like the increasing kind of mainstreaming of astrological beliefs and a new level of kind of taking astrology seriously in popular culture. So astrology really started to see an increase in popularity around the late 2010s, with like a real new height reached during COVID, because people like were really looking for a new source of meaning. And as well, like online astrological content really makes a difference here. It's all the alarmism that inevitably descends when Mercury inevitably goes back into retrograde, and the feeling of relief apparently when Mercury is out of retrograde. Sometimes it's videos about which signs are and are not compatible, which signs hate each other, how you should dress according to your Venus sign. And it also kind of offers an explanation for negative experiences while also offering a way out. It's to say, okay, well, this bad thing's happening, but hey, it's just because Mercury retrograde, or, you know, the full moon, or, you know, something else weird is happening astrologically, and it'll end though. It's always the assurance that things will happen, but they will end. Mercury will come out of retrograde eventually. It does create a safer seeming world where there are patterns and there are explanations. So we have internet astrology, and then we have internet tarot. And I think there's an interesting distinction here. So in my experience of consuming this type of content, astrology tends to offer sort of broader predictions based on what's in your birth chart, whereas tarot offers very specific recommendations, readings for you as a person. When you engage with online tarot videos, like, the creator is always going to say like, oh, well, I have this reading that has come to me specifically to you. It is for you. This is for you. This is not for your general Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Aquarius, Rising population. Those are my big three. No, this tarot reading, though, this is for you holistically as a person. And this is also for you. So yeah, you might have noticed that there are other people watching this. You are part of a special collective sharing a certain experience, and the universe wants to tell you as part of this collective, but also you as an individual, that something's going to happen. Usually it's, for me, it's money's coming, but I think also love is coming. That's a big one for a lot of people. Money and love, you know, you got the major categories there. But I thought it would be interesting to kind of trace my own experiences of how I got here, my pipeline to being in the internet tarot world, as it were. So in my, I would say, early mid usage of TikTok, I once characterized my For You page as fashion, cats, socialism. Like, most of the videos I got would fall into one of those categories. And like, honestly, I was having a great time. Like, I was liking that particular, that was like a sweet spot of TikTok for me. Of course it changed, because I think the algorithm, through giving me this content, realizing she likes that, it did learn some things about me. So with the fashion stuff, I guess I favor a certain aspirational kind of lifestyle. With the cats, maybe I'm a little bit lonely also. I mean, who isn't? And then there's like with the socialism stuff, I guess there's a dissatisfaction with the state of society and a dissatisfaction with perhaps work and the nature of work and a desire to change that. And so then I start to get I start to receive gradually these tarot reading videos. And most of the videos that I received personally were very similar in tone, and they had very similar teachings for me. It would often be, first of all, money is coming to you. You have been investing in certain projects. You've invested your time in certain pursuits, and you might have felt like it wasn't going anywhere, but it's about to pay off. Just wait, it's about to pay off. You are about to know prosperity like you have never known prosperity. You're going to be fine. Life is going to be smooth sailing from here on out. It's amazing how many of these videos I have gotten to, like how many people have told me this, like separate creators as well. Like these are not the same people telling me the same things over and over again. Like I have gotten this from so many different sources, like so many sources that I have to believe like it's got to be true, right? Like how could this many tarot readers be getting a misreading from the universe? Sometimes even the predictions were super specific. Like this, on July 21st of this year, for example, I was supposed to sign an important contract. And so as I saw this video, I was thinking, oh, is this going to be the moment when I finally buy that crumbling Victorian house in my hometown that like has literally like it was my obsession of the summer, and I was like, do I sign on it on that day? Or maybe like an interesting like work opportunities coming through, maybe like a project that's actually going to like make me some decent money, maybe that's going to come through and I'm going to sign the freelance contract agreement that day. And then July 21st, it came and it went. And I don't think I signed my name even once on anything. Nothing happened that day. It was a very mundane day. And I'm disappointed to say here that honestly, I was disappointed to have July 21st, this day that was supposed to be a day of days, just pass, and it was just nothing. I was kind of like deflated, like, wow, I guess maybe all of this is fake, and maybe the money isn't coming. Maybe I'm not about to see prosperity like I've never seen prosperity. And I gotta say, like, in thinking about that, now that I've like had the thought that I am a little disappointed if all of this is gonna just ultimately be completely fake and not real, and the universe is not actually communicating with me through my phone. Like I'd prefer that it were, honestly. Like I would like to know these things, but I don't know. Now, I'd never say that I was ever addicted to internet tarot. I honestly have not been like on this that long, and I'm definitely developing a level of skepticism towards it. But I definitely see how this cycle of hope and despair can take shape. The TikTok algorithm, in my case, does indeed see what I desire in life. It sees it quite specifically, and it does feed me content telling me that I will get these things. And all I have to do is wait for them. It's telling me that I'll get them. I'm already on the path. I just need to wait. Just wait, and it will come. Just wait a little longer, and maybe I do just have to wait a little longer. Maybe my impatience is getting the better of me. I am a very impatient person, and of course, like, I would love to see that money come in. I would love to stop being obsessed over like everything I spend. I would love to go out to like a very modest, non-extravagant dinner and not wince a little bit internally when the bill comes. I would love to live that life. And I think that ultimately it's sad that the algorithm knows and has told me that it's going to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen. But finally, what I also think is really interesting here, though, is the shift from content about socialism and organizing and ways to actively make the world a better, more equitable place to content about divinely granted prosperity coming my way. Who cares about like doing the work of organizing for a better world when, my female ancestors or my spirit guides or the Morrigan, apparently, I don't entirely know what that is, but it does show up a lot. She shows up a lot. I'm not exactly sure, but that when they're going to grant me what I need, like why even bother with anything else? Like, and if I were to go like super, super like anti-capitalist conspiracy theorist, I would say, well, this is all for a reason. Like, isn't it better to just keep us all waiting for something to happen instead of actually trying to make anything happen? Isn't it better to just say, well, it will come, just give it time? And so we come to the point of me questioning, like, well, is it bad? Is all of this bad? And the thing is, like, I don't have a problem with the online tarot readers, honestly. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of them genuinely do believe in what they're doing. I mean, hats off to them for like creating their own little cottage industry of like something they enjoy. Like, I think if you enjoy doing that and you get pleasure out of it and you feel like you're helping people, like, cool. And there is one reader I, you know, generally quite enjoy and find to be like pretty reasonable and pretty like balanced about all of this. And she always says, you know, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And I think that's good advice for going forward with this. Like, if something resonates, cool. And I think what I can say about it, though, is it's maybe also a way to get to a point of greater clarity about what you do want. Like, yeah, like when I take what resonates, I can see that, okay, like I think I am really concerned about like my, I guess, professional existence and my ability to financially survive in this world. And I think, you know, I've got to figure out what I can do to make things better. And I don't know if that's like teaming up with others to do something concrete, or if it's to, again, just like try to keep plugging away at these projects and make something happen. But like, I think it did kind of maybe help me to clarify, because now I can see like, okay, like this really does resonate with me and I keep watching this over and over and over again. Like, maybe that means something. And what I also need to remember, though, is that there is no point in just waiting around for stuff, no matter how many July 21sts I am promised.